Hey, everybody. See, I always stare at this thing because I'm like, am I actually on? I wish there was some guarantee because I'm paranoid that way. Welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Man, I got a bunch of stuff to kind of talk about today. And a lot of it's because of the San Diego Comic-Con. Hey, I'm on. Because that means a lot of little announcements of things, and I'm not even going to probably show half of it. Partly because some of it, like, I try to just show, like promotional photos that come from the companies making this stuff. You know, I can't be showing photos that people just take at the con because they're posting it on their own X accounts, on their own, blogs, their own websites, and they own the photos. I can't just grab those, and wouldn't make sense to go, asking people for permission and stuff like that. So there's a lot more than I'm going to even be talking about, but we got a bunch of stuff. And here's the real kicker for me. They're showing a police squad marathon right now on Catchy TV, which means I'm going to miss like 2 or 3 episodes here. So, don't say I never sacrificed anything for my audience. And of course, I have no idea if I even have an audience at the moment because I do this through OBS and I don't see any stats. There's Ramey Butler. Hey, sir. All right. Well, I got Ramey and I got my wife. So I got something going here, but let's jump in to the sort of news of the week, I guess I should say, which sadly has to begin with a few celebrities passing away this week that, mean a lot to pop culture. It's kind of weird because you go like, I don't know any of these people, right? Their friends, their family are mourning the loss of somebody close to them, somebody who was in their lives on a day-to-day basis or close to a day-to-day basis. They're never going to get to see again and all that. And most of us, I think, have gone through that kind of loss in our lives. It's weird when you're just a fan of their work because, their work is still going to be there for you. They're not, but their work is. And, some of these folks were older, and so they weren't necessarily producing a lot of new stuff that you're going to go, oh, I'll never get to hear a new. But at any rate, it still kind of hurts, It's like it's an honest emotion when these folks leave us. At any rate, Ozzy Osbourne obviously had just done a big concert. He knew he was on his way out. He'd had Parkinson's. And if you watched his reality show like 20 years ago, you knew that he wasn't necessarily the healthiest guy on earth, even back then. Amazing how much more time he got on this earth. But this is the guy right here. Oh, wow. Gutenberg's still pretty young, I think. Relatively speaking, Ramey, I wouldn't worry, and I might be like jinxing the guy. I hope I'm not. But with Ozzy, it occurred to me like a lot of us, when we got into metal, there was already a metal subculture, right? So you knew how to act as a metal fan, put it that way. Like, you knew the shirts you were going to wear, you're going to grow the hair long, you're going to do whatever. There's always iconoclasts, and you go like when Ozzy and Black Sabbath, and those originators who are sort of rolling in from some of them kind of almost from a hippie psychedelic scene. They're listening to old blues music. They're doing it heavy, but like it was new. There was no pattern. There was no template. These guys set the template for metal and what that subculture was. And it would go through different permutations. And there would be people who say, well, I'm going to do something different than the traditional metal. But you can't do something different than traditional metal until there's traditional metal out there. So Ozzy Osbourne, a genuine trailblazer, whatever you think of metal music, these guys, they did create something that lasted and lives to this day, might I say. And then Hulk Hogan. I mean, I was never like a wrestling fan in the 80s. I wasn't. I watched some of it later on in the Rock era. Just because, like, I think at the time we didn't have cable or satellite, and it was on one of the over-the-air channels or something. I don't remember. My daughter was real little, and I got kind of a kick out of it. But even I knew who Hulk Hogan was. I mean, you talk about like legends. When you're known outside of your industry, just regular people, that's pretty good. And I know people have been bringing up things that Ozzy and Hulk Hogan had done that weren't maybe the greatest things, granted, but like, keep in mind, man, we're all human beings. We're all on this journey through life. All of us hopefully finding salvation at the end, and screwing up is part of the game, unfortunately. But God bless Ozzy and Hulk. And then Malcolm Jamal Warner, man, like, he was just about my age. And I was a Cosby Show fanatic when I was a kid. I was already a fan of Bill Cosby's comedy. My dad had old Bill Cosby albums, and I started listening to those things when I was like, I don't know, 10 years old or something. They're freaking hilarious. When Ozzy played a TV, I don't know if I've seen that. What did he play a TV preacher on, Raimi? I don't think I've seen that. But like, Theo Huxtable, basically right around my age. And though Theo Huxtable had a particular learning disability, dyslexia, that they kind of reveal later on. Initially, he was just a kid who, didn't get his homework done and wasn't getting the grades he was supposed to get. And man, did I get that, because my problem was my head was always in the clouds in school. And I oftentimes would forget when stuff was due or not hear an assignment being assigned, even though the teacher talked about it for like 10 minutes, because I was, off somewhere else. But yeah, like, I totally connected with Trick or Treat 80. So, okay. All right. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, yeah, like, it's those characters that you identify with. And Theo Huxtable was definitely one of them. You notice I'm using images from like when they were sort of in their prime of fame and stuff. And I always like to remember folks best that way. But just to go that young, wife, kids, friggin' terrible, man. Just that one really hurts, because he obviously had a lot more life left to live. And Chuck Mangione, Mangione, I was not a fan back in the day when I was young. If you played this music for me, I would have been like, what the hell is this? And we're watching Cannonball Run some years back. It had been a rough day. It was my birthday. I get home. My wife puts on Cannonball Run, which is one of my favorite just movies to sit and watch. And it's funny, like, I'm at an age at that point, I was probably in my 40s. And now that music of his, that mellow type of stuff, like, it hits right. Because I'm at that age where it's like, God, I just want to relax, man. Like, I'm tired of fighting and struggling, especially because it's always like just bullshit, nonsense, ephemeral crap that doesn't mean anything in the long run, but you got to deal with in the short run. And just, yeah, that, I really dig that stuff nowadays. And so we lost him too, man. Malcolm Jamal Warner was a good musician. He won a Grammy. I didn't know that. I know he'd done some other acting and stuff. Yeah. So 4 people. And there was also a man who I think it created Elder Scrolls. Now, I'm not a gamer, but I know that hit hard for a lot of people. This is ongoing. But at a certain point, it starts hitting your generation in terms of nostalgia. Folks you grew up listening to, watching, connecting with, in pop culture. And to be honest with you, it also says, ooh, these people are all, a lot of them are 20 years older than me or more. You kind of have to go, all right, yeah, I mean, I'm not here forever. Don't freak out about it, but just say, okay, man, start living. I don't want to say living for today, like screw everybody, I'm going to make myself happy, but start thinking about legacy and start enjoying life, as much as you can. And my camera's like jiggling all over the place here. I usually put this thing on that keeps it steady. Maybe says, I have found 70s and 80s easy listening isn't as bad as it thought. I listen to a surprising amount of it now. There's a online radio station called Luxuria Music that I listen to a lot. There's one show in particular, podcast, called Madly Cocktail. That's, it's not so much easy listening as it is a lot of stuff from like, jazz, big band, just cool kind of cocktail type stuff. I listen to that every so often. And then on YouTube, you'll find these usually about hour-long compilations from Soft Tempo Lounge, which is kind of easy to listen. Yeah, dude, it kind of just... Oh, yeah, and the yacht rock, too. I know, yeah. No, I mean, I listened to some of that when I was younger because it was just pop music at the time. But, yeah, I went through the metal phase, and which I still like metal. But, yeah, there's a definite place in my life for just... Well, for easy listening, because like, dude, I'm just tired of fighting. I just want to chill out and be cool and, have a friggin', I don't know, a scotch or a margarita or something on the patio and chat with folks and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Teddy Pendergrass is always awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. So let's get to the new, latest, greatest, biggest thing in the whole universe, but probably not really. The Fantastic Four movie has been released with Pedro Pascal, so there's no chance I'm going to watch it. Look, it's me. I'm not going to say it's him. I mean, although I think it's probably a little him, but it's me. The dude just gets on my damn nerves. I can't watch a whole movie, especially where he's playing a lead character, and a very lead character from what I understand, because the movie sounds like it's more focused on Reed and Sue than on Johnny or Ben. In fact, Ben seems like he maybe gets the least attention of all four of them, which again, weird. Most popular character. Dude's had his own comic book series, I think a couple times now. Yeah, I have heard for the most part pretty positive reviews of it. It seems like, I would say the reviews seem a little more positive than Superman. Even from people who didn't particularly like the movie overall, seemed like they liked it better than Superman. I heard that the dude doing Johnny Storm does great. Dude doing Ben Grimm does great, even though the voices may be a little off. I think the best I've heard about Pedro Pascal is, well, he's not, he didn't completely ruin the movie. Like, he's not entirely disruptive to the film. He's fine. He's fine. There's a lot of heart in it, apparently. And I have a feeling it's probably getting better reviews than Superman because it is more focused in terms of the story. Yeah, there's goofy stuff in it, comic book wise. You get it. But it's better focused. Not as many characters probably too. I think Superman, I think if somebody had been over James Gunn, who could have said, all right, hold on. Why are these characters here? Why do we need these two, bad guy lieutenants when we could probably just have one? I mean, hell, Gene Hackman just had Otis, well, I mean, he had Mrs. What is it? Oh, shit. Tessmacher, obviously, but I mean, they weren't like, super powered or anything. Otis was maybe he had his own little superpower. Incompetence, but this generation's Nick Cage. Yeah, I don't know. I like Nick Cage though better than Pedro Pascal. He does some weird movies, but when he's on, he's on. Honeymoon in Vegas. I love that flick. And I liked him in Ghost Rider. I have to admit, that was weird, but I kind of liked Ghost Rider. Although not the sequel. The sequel to Ghost Rider was like, holy Lord. It's like somebody strung together dozens of TikTok videos lasting 10 seconds and called it a movie. I didn't care for that. At any rate. But it does seem like it's getting better reviews. Not like spectacularly better, but better. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to do a little talk on this thing. So let's look at the box office. And the one article I initially found seemed like, it's doing better than Superman. And then I actually look at the numbers. So here's the numbers that we have so far. So opening weekend, which obviously is not just Saturday and Sunday. For the U.S. domestic, Superman, 125 million, Fantastic Four, 118 million. Global, Superman, 220 million, Fantastic Four, 218 million. So a little better globally outside the U.S. than Superman. But the fact is, it wasn't a great opening for Superman, and the global's been rough. It kind of, at this point, looks the same for Fantastic Four. Now, with the movie getting pretty good reviews, too, one has to wonder, what does it do to Superman moving forward? Because it's had a pretty good hold week to week up until now. Is it going to be hurting in that regard? It sounds like Superman's past 500 million globally now. But like, again, it needs to get into it needs to probably hit about 675 million to break even. I still think it'll probably do that. Now, Fantastic Four has a reported $200 million budget, which seems unlikely for Disney, but possibly they've figured things out. So it needs to hit 600. I think they'll probably both break even at least and probably make a little profit. But again, and I talked about this in the last stream, so if you want to go, you could watch. That's kind of at the beginning. Looking at movies that sort of started or launched a franchise or a trilogy or whatever. These guys are at the low end of that, which says, yeah, they could do it, but this is not the greatest opening in the world for the DC cinematic universe or for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the fact that these are so similar says that this is probably the pattern for superhero big budget movies moving forward, which says, watch those budgets, Hollywood. Watch those budgets. You could probably keep yourself profitable if you're real careful with those budgets. But we'll see. Coming up next is... for DC is Supergirl in the movies and Peacemaker Season 2 on TV. For Marvel, I don't know what it is now. Is it the Doomsday? I don't know. I'm not even sure. The age of the movie theater, I believe, is over. I think it is in some ways. I still think, though, that I think they need to, well, first of all, they need to produce better material. I mean, F1's past $500 million, and that's not based on any nonsense. It sounds like it was a pretty solid movie from what I've heard. Better movies. Well, okay, so I'll go off tangent. I was chatting online with Jarrett Keene, author. Go check out his stuff. Find it on Amazon. Did the Kid Crimson Westerns. But he was mentioning, which movie were we talking about? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because I was saying that was the first big argument I had with my future wife was over that movie. It was a goodie too. Hey, you got to have that. It forges a stronger sword, right? Fire forges a stronger blade. Silly thing to argue over. And obviously in the end, and don't believe her if she says something differently in the chat, in the end, she realized I was completely right about everything. Really, that's really what's kept us so strong as a couple, is when she realized I was always right and just never argue with me. It's just not worth it. Waiting to see what we see there. But at any rate, and he's like, yeah, that came out the same month in 1992 as A Cool World. I was like, oh, yeah. I don't even see anything. I just see her name. I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. There's the, yeah. So at any rate, I was like, so I started looking at 92 and like, holy crap. Like I went to the movies a lot in 92. It was a good age for me to be going to movies. I had money, but I had no real responsibilities. I worked at a video store, so we'd go after to stuff. But like, you know, I saw Batman Returns in the theater, Wayne's World, twice in the same day, as a matter of fact, because I had different groups of people that I was going with. And in between going to the Wayne's World the 2 times, I ran over to like Tower Records and bought the friggin' CD because I was really digging the music in it. I can't even remember the whole list. And then I start looking though at like big movies that came out that year that I didn't go see in the theater, still haven't seen, that are like, and you're going, damn, it was crammed. I mean, there was so much to go see at the movies that you could go essentially probably just about every single weekend and catch something that you hadn't seen before or something that was so good you wanted to see it again. I don't know that they do that anymore, honestly. I mean, it looks like the biggest movie this year is going to be Lilo and Stitch. It's going to make like over $1 billion. I think something else, you're going, oh no, I think the Pixar movie bit hard. But at any rate, I don't know. I think the era of Hollywood is over. But if they would just fire a bunch of people and hire better ones, probably indie people, and probably just better executives. I still think the executive side is where the biggest problem is. I think it could come back, honestly. I mean, look, you go to the movies, you sit dark room with a bunch of people and watch something great. You're screaming, you're laughing, you're free, you know, it's just like tension, but good tension. You got your pop, you got some popcorn, you got whatever, you know, you're eating. Like, it's not a bad way to spend a couple hours, honestly. But you got to give people a reason to go. And, you know, look, Hollywood had to work hard to tear people away from their TV sets at one point. But they did. Okay, now you're tearing them away from their phones. I think you can. But with what they're putting out, I'm not so sure. Oh, Avatar, yeah. Avatar, I think, is what do they call a psyop? Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand it. Look at me and Herbie just hanging out together. I did want to mention, though, too, I like that they honored Kirby in the movie. Because, holy shit, I mean, you shouldn't even have to give people credit for that. It should just be, obviously, you'd honor Jack Kirby. And, frankly, Stan Lee, too. Come on. They were both working on this stuff together. But Stan got a lot more honoring over the years than other creators, without a doubt. But I also like that the 94 cast was at the premiere, giving credit where credit is due to these guys for including these folks. And I just did my review on that one. Yeah, make a movie from a newer novel series. I know, exactly. You're going, well, movies do better if they're based on something else, but but the thing they're based on was brand new at some point. At one point, there was no such thing as Indiana Jones. Oh, there were influences, but there was no Indiana Jones. It didn't exist. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out. Nobody knew who this character was. Nobody knew anything about it. Harrison Ford, Spielberg, Lucas, you got some good names behind it, obviously, but brand new character, and it becomes a huge thing. Star Wars didn't exist once, right? Bugs Bunny didn't exist once. Superman did not exist once. Action Comics #1 comes out. What is this? And it's big. Yes, you can create new things. Get some good people behind it. Get some good ideas behind it. Don't executive it to death. Give it a reasonable budget. Might have to start small and build. It can be done. Like, there's indie comics I'm looking at right now where I'm going, this would work as a cartoon. This would work as a movie. There's books that I'm reading. I just did a review on that Atlantis book, which has never really been turned into anything. And you'll read these things and you're like going, why is this not turn this into something, for God's sakes? Especially public domain, guys. It's public domain. You don't have to pay anybody for rights to anything for The Lost Continent. Anybody out there who's an indie creator right now who wants a frigging awesome thing that you could turn into a comic book. Let's say you're an artist and you're not the greatest writer in the world. Here it is. You'll have to adapt it. You might need some help, but still, holy crap, could you make an awesome comic book based on this thing? And it's public domain. You don't got to pay nobody nothing. And there's a lot of that stuff out there. I mean, everybody's getting excited about like Batman and Superman going public domain. There's all sorts of cool stuff out there you could use. There really is. Do some of it, for God's sakes, Hollywood. There's so many great indie people. Yes, I did see the Daffy Duck Porky movie, and it was fun. And I generally don't dig those things. Like Looney Tunes turned into movies. It's like, yeah, they're kind of short subjects. It's hard sometimes. I like Space Jam okay, but I didn't love it. I haven't liked most of the live action mixed stuff, which we are going to talk about in a minute. But that one I liked. I thought they did a fantastic job, and I liked that it was a lot of hand-drawn stuff too. It wasn't all computer crap. I reviewed that, I think, on this channel. I've went to 2 movies so far this year. I went to that, and I went to Working Man, just because I wanted to see something Chuck Dixon had done on a big screen and see how it worked out, and see what they would do with it. Was it going to be kind of like, and it was like throwback to 80s action flicks. But at any rate, so there's the one that Lucas, a Dracula movie. Yeah, I mean, Dracula's public domain. Do something with them, but just do it well. I think the whole thing of like, I'm going to really twist this and make it weird. I'm like, I think we need less twisting right now, and we need more basics. You're only avant-garde for so long. Eventually you're just guard. You could twist things after you got a lot of good mainstream stuff, and let's do something different. When it's all, let's twist it, then it just kind of, everything falls apart. Again, you're inverting things. The edge can't be the center. Eventually the center has to reassert itself, and we're at that point right now. And I think they have done that with Superman and Fantastic Four. They're not like weird takes exactly. You got Shia LaBeouf as Silver Surfer. It's a little weird, kind of unnecessary from what I understand from most people. But still, for the most part, it looks like they did stick pretty close to what it's supposed to be. They need to do that again. That's kind of what the 80s was doing in a lot of ways. Bringing back, starting with like Star Wars, just even though it's actually radical because it wasn't. It just wasn't. I think Lucas made some of that crap up in a way because all of his weird film friends were like going, well, that wasn't weird. That wasn't like anti-everything. And no, it was. The Empire is America. I don't know, maybe if that's what he was really aiming for, he did a piss poor job of it. But Star Wars is just a damn fun action sci-fi movie. That's what it was. Indiana Jones. You get the idea. I think we need to get back in there for a while. But speaking of weird, Margot Robbie will star in Tim Burton's Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. And like, I'm going, why do I have a feeling this won't be good? And the reason is, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, obviously, is not a great film in and of itself. It's a cult thing. It's kind of schlocky. It's fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. I've seen it many times. It's about a personal story of a woman being wronged by a man and becoming this 50-foot woman who can kick his ass, right? It's personal. Why do I feel like this one is going to be just riddled with current day politics? And it's not going to be about a bad man. It's going to be about men being bad. Oh, I hope it's not. I hope it's a fun, schlocky salute to the olden days. But Tim Burton, I tend to like his new stuff better than his adaptations. So I don't know, man. Nazi vampire, I would love that to be a film. Yeah, and doesn't that feel, Raimi, like something that would be like an indie type film? Because, you got some great monster makeup going for the werewolf and stuff, but a lot of that you could do without it being expensive. It feels like we would have got, actually, I wonder if I think something like that has been made too. He's not preachy, but it's current day. And that's the thing. I'm kind of going like, I should be kind of excited about this. And for some reason, I'm not. So I don't know. Margot Robbie's really pretty, but I'm not sure she has the right look for this. I don't think she has an Allison Hayes look, but maybe. But I don't know. It's weird how it struck me. And I think it says something about kind of where we're at lately, and the way things are done. It's sad. I should be more excited about that than I am. Speaking of live action, is it a Disney film? Probably not. It could be. I don't know who's doing it in terms of producing it. But in theaters next year in August, Acme versus Coyote. Again, I'm just not that into the live action cutesy things. I liked the was it The Day the World Popped? What the hell was that now? The Daffy Porky movie. Blew up. The Day the World Blew Up. That was, she is definitely no Julie Newmar, that's for sure. Julie Newmar had an amazing spirit, if nothing else, and a wonderfully, I say had, she's still with us, wonderfully weird stuff. But at any rate, but people have been looking forward to this, and it had gotten shelved. And because the Porky Daffy movie did so well, the company that put that out grabbed Acme versus Coyote, and it is going to be released into theaters in August of 2026. So that's coming. So people will get a chance to see it, which is nice. I don't think it should have been. It should have been shelved. Warner Brothers. It's like no matter how stupid Disney is, Warner Brothers is like, oh, we can outdo them. Oh yeah, don't worry, we can do better than them. Let's get into some new releases. Oh no, I had one other thing I was going to talk about because it is a movie budget thing. So Warner Brothers is putting out a Clayface movie. Okay, maybe an odd choice. But it's going to be an R-rated horror film. All right, that could work. $45 million budget. Now that's a budget you could make a profit with a movie like that. And don't tell me that 2 years ago, it wouldn't have had a $200 million budget, because it probably would have. And we would have all been going, what in the hell? There's no way. $45 million budget basically means this thing, if it can make about, $140 million into theaters, it'll break even or start to make a little bit of a profit. That could work. Now, if you had a bigger, more solid plan, you could also be dovetailing this into the Batman films that you want to make. They got a script apparently for the next one from what's his nuts who did the Matt something. I can't think of his name. He did the Batman where they had the weird Riddler thing, but then they got the Penguin series that did really well. So this could dovetail into all that. But it seems like they're sort of like, is this part of the whole new DC universe? Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. And it sounds like it's going to be, at least partly it's going to be, I think the movie actor, Golden Age, Clayface. But I have a feeling, because that guy was just doing makeup, I think it'll be a combination of the two different, the Golden Age and Silver Age Clayfaces, because they were very different. But at any rate, that could actually work. So, new releases, new campaigns that are kind of being announced. We're in San Diego Comic-Con time, so there's a lot of stuff getting announced at the moment. I normally have like 10, 11, 12. I got about 22 different things, some of them with multiple images. So here we go. This is going to take a little bit. I'm going to whip my whistle. Oh, what I'm drinking, by the way, Diet Cherry Coke. They put it out in the retro cans. My wife got me some. Thank you, honey. It is delightful. Okay, so Heavy Metal #2 in comic shops and on newsstands soon. I think this might be a special cover they're showing off at San Diego Comic-Con. There's also a Brahm cover. I believe there will be others as well. There were multiple covers for the first issue. I got the first issue. I liked it. I think it was solid. A lot of good stuff in it. Just kind of what you would expect from Heavy Metal. And I will say this too. It's a big book. It's a magazine. thick, a lot of pages, glossy, and it was like $10. And I see, like, dude, I see stuff not nearly as good as this production wise going for more. So it was solid in that regard. Oh yeah, new Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, and I was never in a more, dude, when the video games came out that I had to start learning things to play, like all the combinations of keys, it was like, okay, that sounds like work now. So I didn't play a lot of Mortal Kombat, but yeah, I've heard differing views on where they're going with it in terms of the characters. But Carl Urban did the little teaser thing with him that looked like an 80s kind of action movie. Could be fun. Could be fun. I hope it is. I hope it is. I want people to have fun at the movies. I'm not one of these. Look, I'm a critical son of a gun, which, by the way, is why I got into that fight with my wife over Vampire Slayer, which I appreciate more now, honestly. I probably came more to her way of thinking than the other way around. Not just probably, I did. But oh, Man of War. Okay. Oh, you haven't cracked it open yet. It was good. I thought it was pretty solid. It reminded me of just heavy metal from back in the day, honestly. Similar stuff, similar creators in it, and a lot of little nods back to the old days. So kind of going through heavy metal history and cover artists and all that kind of stuff, honoring different artists. I thought it was groovy. But at any rate, I'm a critical guy, but I really do. I just hope people find fun stuff. That's kind of why I do this stream. So from Fleischer at rockinpins.com, rockinpins.com, they sell a lot of cool stuff. In fact, the Coco the Clown that I got recently comes from them. This is a shirt. This is the first one I think they've done that's like all over and the back and the whole thing. Yeah, I did like Pee-wee and Buffy. Spider and the Fly. I guess the cartoon is called The Cobweb Hotel. $60. Last day to pre-order is July 30th, so 3 days from now, fulfilling in the fourth quarter of this year. So that'd be somewhere October through December. But if you're into Fleischer cartoons, they got a lot of cool stuff at rockinpins.com. A lot of cool merchandise. You might want to check that out. Continuing Fantagraphics Atlas Comics series, Volume 6, Shiver As You Read. This is horror from the 1950s, taken from Men's Adventures and Amazing Detective Cases. $45, now available for pre-order at Fantagraphics site. You might want to check that out if you're into the old school horror. Ramey, thanks for stopping by, man. Have a good day. I hope it's a good one for you. Now, I missed this last week. Was supposed to be in, but this is Spinal Tap getting a 4K Blu-ray release coming September 16th via Criterion, up for pre-order on Amazon for $40. And yes, I did see the preview for the sequel, and I got to be honest, no, I'm not really interested in that one. Yeah, I think maybe the time has passed on the Spinal Tap for the sequel. It could be good. I don't know. These sequels like 20 or 30 years after the fact, I don't know. But here's something I am very excited about. John Byrne's Elsewin is getting published by Abrams Comics Art, associated with Marvel, of course. 3 volumes are going to be released. So what is this? Byrne did this basically himself, more or less himself. I mean, collaborated with co-inker Paul Wills, colorist Laverne Kinzierski, and Leonard O'Grady, lettered by Byrne and Patrick Brousseau. He did 32 issues of X-Men comics himself. I think it was on his website. I mean, the ones I saw were not like fully colored and everything. It was mostly pencils that he'd done. And it was basically, it was a what-if storyline in which Jean Grey survives the Dark Phoenix saga. And it's got like, dude, Savage Land. They're fighting the Sentinels. Spidey's shows up. The Avengers show up. Yeah, it did. The Spinal Tap trailer. It was just like, you're going, holy Lord, man. Like these dudes, they've gotten up there. God bless them all, but they've gotten up there. At any rate, though, so it's 32. They're going to do 3 volumes. Volume 1 coming out April 2026. Volume 2 in the fall of that year. Volume 3 in the spring of 2027. They're going to be 7.5-inch by 11-inch hardcovers. I just was reading those facsimile editions of the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga. This is going to be rad. Marvel didn't want to publish it initially, so they had to put some work in to get this thing out there. So it's coming soon. It'll be next year, so it's a ways away. But this is just classic X-Men, John Byrne. I think it's going to be rad. I'm definitely going to buy these when they come out. So this was something that was premiered at San Diego Comic-Con from Mezco, their 5-point series, I think is what they're calling it. The Powerpuff Girls, Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, and of course, Mojo Jojo. If you're a big fan of those characters, that cartoon, you might want to look for these. Not sure when they're actually coming out. That was a cartoon I watched with my daughter back in the day. I called it my second childhood of cartoons I watched with her, which was like Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Kim Possible, the Teen Titans cartoon that they did, even in a way the Justice League Unlimited stuff, Batman Brave and the Bold stuff that we watched together, gave me a really good excuse to watch cartoons. Powerpuff Girls was a lot of fun. Of course, once the creator left, it primarily became obsessed with the mayor and his love of pickles. It's like, dude, that was one joke in a friggin' movie. It does not need to be in every damn episode. It's not that funny. But I swear to God, when a creator leaves a series, it's like it might as well be written by AI. It's like, well, let's imitate other stuff he did. And it's like, you're not, oh, yeah, and SpongeBob. God, I forgot SpongeBob. How can I forget SpongeBob? Now for something completely different, a Conan the Barbarian Blackstone figure based on Rob De La Torre's cover for Free Comic Book Day 2024 has been announced. Is this? No, this isn't Icon because they're doing this stuff with Frazetta. I'm not sure who's doing this. Doing a really good job, aren't I? Yeah. If you care, go out and look for it. By God, it's called Google. It's not that hard. But yeah, so this looks pretty cool though, and you get a lot of goodies with it. Good rendition of Conan, and as far as I'm concerned, got the horns on the helmet. Lots of weapons. Lots of different hands. You get the breastplate going, or maybe that might be chainmail now that I'm looking at it. But so that's been announced. There's going to be another really cool one in the same vein later. McFarlane Toys only has the DC Comics license for a little bit more. Essentially has lost it. So they're getting a few more things coming out, and we'll have a couple others that we're going to talk about in this stream. But this is Deathstroke, the Terminator. Launches July 29th at select retailers, so 2 days from now. And don't wait, because they had some other stuff I'm going to talk about in a minute that launched that I wasn't paying attention to. Your Icon's on the way. Cool. Man of War. Yeah. It looked good. Well, they got another one. It's not Conan, but it's coming, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. So you want to pay attention July 29th, because the things that I missed out on, I didn't worry about it because I'd never had any trouble ordering them before, and most of them were sold out. So this might be because they're losing the license. Maybe they're not producing in as big a numbers, because maybe they can't continue selling once the license is lost. So if you're into the McFarlane, some of this stuff, order it immediately. Don't freaking wait. I know I sound like I'm doing the work for them, but I don't mean to. Nacelle has a second wave of Sectars figures coming out. Always thought the Sectars were kind of cool. Never had any of these as a kid. This is the spidery looking winged thing, but it's like a glove that you put your hand into, and you see it's being ridden by this mug right here. Pretty good looking figures from Nacelle. I don't know necessarily about the quality on these. It might be something you have to look into before you buy. You might want to see some other reviews of them, but Sectars has been announced. Speaking of the 50-foot woman, the original, along with Vim, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and World Without End are coming from the Warner Archive September 2nd on Blu-ray. probably worth it. I just love that a movie like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman gets remakes, gets released. Because, you know, the people who did it, man, they put some work into it. I mean, I know some of these things were like cash grabs, but not all of them were. And it's cool that we get to, like, I'm a guy who used to read Film Facts magazine in the 90s. You'd find things like this on videotape. It was tough. You had to order. You just didn't have places. I mean, they were, but most of us didn't have a place we could go and just buy this stuff off a shelf. Like, you had to hunt for all this weird crap. And I love that it's just so much more available now. Speaking of weird crap, White Elephant Toys is announcing Rise of the Atomic Ape Men. These are 8-inch Mego-style figures, basically knockoffs of the knockoffs of Planet of the Apes. We have Argos, we have Zoomer, we have Daisy, obviously, based on, what's her name from the movie? Why the hell don't I remember her name? Christ, I'm an old man. And we have Dr. Neuron. These things would go very nicely with their Action Force stuff, their Super Joes that they've been making. And you know, the first thing I thought of too, looking at them, was, if you remember this, you are, what do they say? You're a real one, right? Who remembers Encounter Critical? So when we were starting to get the old school role-playing game stuff getting pumped out, Encounter Critical comes along. I've got to do like a review on this because I got it. It was pitched as an old sci-fi role-playing game from the early days that had been forgotten. And dude, it looked it. The art, the layout, it looked like it was something. Now, it wasn't. It was a hoax, but they admitted it early on. It wasn't meant to really like defraud anybody. But it was done by folks who, they did Rhesus, the free, easy role-playing game that you could do anything with, that was all based on, well, anyway, it was cool. I think Venture Satanis now owns the rights to Encounter Critical, but it was sci-fi, but everything was like knockoff in it. So you had planetary apes, was like a species you could play or something. Encounter Critical was really weird. And I thought of these, like, yeah, I need to do a video on Encounter Critical. I never got to play it. I would really love to play it. It was good. What did they say? It was like based on scientific realism or something like that. It was so great. It was a fun time. Super 7, not done with Cold Slither just yet. They have a box set coming out that includes the Zartan Cold Slither O-ring figure, with like his guitar, his microphone, and exclusive vinyl, a 45 vinyl record, Cold Slither, with a 45 adapter for your turntable if you don't already have one. And it looks like a poster, Band of Vipers World Tour. You can get it in 2 different colors, which I'm kind of going, well, I already have that one figure, but yeah, under this color scheme, I kind of wouldn't mind having that vinyl. That'd be kind of fun. So, I am hearing people say it already shows out of stock on their website. I'm sorry, which is Walmart. It's going to be sold at Walmart. So good luck ever getting a pre-order. But Walmart has put stuff up in advance of the pre-order that says out of stock instead of like not yet available, because Walmart doesn't know what the hell it's doing online, frankly. I've had a lot of trouble with them. So, but dude, give it a try. I'm not sure when it's actually going on sale. So just keep track, or keep looking at the Super 7 website. Similar, this is what I was mentioning earlier, McFarlane's next and last wave of Superpowers figures. It went up for pre-order July 23rd. Animal Man, Cyborg, Deadman, and Nightwing. I was down with all of them. Now, Animal Man I especially wanted because I'm trying to collect like the Justice League International figures. He was in the JLI for a little while. Exclusively at McFarlane's online store. And They might all be sold out now. Animal Man was available. I did snag Animal Man. That was it. The other ones were gone. So they went out, and I did that a couple days ago. Yesterday, maybe. I think it may have been yesterday. So it was only like 4 days after they went on sale. So again, I think that McFarlane right now is producing small numbers, probably because they're losing the license. Hoping that when I think it's Mattel is taking over, I hope they do this line as well, because there's more figures I'd like in it, but maybe not. So at any rate, you could maybe still get Animal Man. Oh, and this is the other thing that came up. I showed off those Superman 1978 movie figures a while ago. 3 3/4 inch. And I see somebody's like, hey, I found Superman at Target. I was like, well, I didn't even know they were for sale yet. Go to the Target website, man. Only Jor-El was still available. They were selling for like $9. I'm like, holy crap. I would have bought those. I would have bought all of them for $9. I probably would have bought doubles on a couple, so I could just pop them out of the boxes or off the cards and display them. Sold out. And we went and looked yesterday. I think Jor-El was finally sold out too. You can maybe still find them in the Targets. So go look at your Target if you want to get one of those figures. They looked pretty rad, actually, but they sold out really quick too at that price. And I think they're already up on eBay for like 15, which, if I'm honest, is still not bad. It's less than Super 7 sells their stuff for. So, but get out there right now. They're doing a lot more of this smaller. You'd think they wouldn't with dealing with like tariffs. You'd want to get those economies of scale, but this is also from Nacelle. 3 3/4 inch Great Garloo carded figure, which you can pre-order now, which frankly, I want to say Super 7 did this as well. If you missed it, you could maybe get it now. Avoid them like the plague. I assume Manowar's talking about Walmart. I know. I won't do anything else. They screwed me on 2 or 3 different figures now. Done. Not going through them anymore. And I'm kind of done with exclusives. Just sell the damn things. Just make as many as you need and sell the damn things. Dude, it's fun to go hunt for vintage figures that are in good shape from the past. This simulated scarcity shit is stupid. I'm friggin' sick of it, man. But so Great Garloo. Now, if you don't know the Great Garloo, there's a good chance you don't. This was the original. It was from Marks in 1960. Remote control. Moved forward, moved backward, could pick things up. So put the little hands down and grab it and lift it up. And it's kind of like one of those toy designs that people love. It's kind of crazy looking. They've done it in a comic as well, Nacelle. I have heard various things about their comics, so I haven't picked any up. But I did do the pre-order on the Great Garloo carded figure because I'd wanted one in the past and it was no longer available. Also from Super 7, Mumra's Tomb Fortress boxed set. So what this is, and you remember they did this in a few toys back in the day. Mego's Star Trek Transporter did this. I want to say there was another one that did, but the idea is you got your Mumra figure where he's a mummy, and you could tell this is in sort of the Masters of the Universe style of toys. And then you got the Mumra when he's, done his whole transformation. And but it's got a spinner. So you have him and you spin the thing and then he transforms. Fun for collectors because it really harkens back to old toy lines. But you do, I believe, get both the Mumra figures with this. You can see the pictures of him there. So that's kind of cool. It is in that Masters of the Universe style, which actually I think works pretty well for the Thundercats. So you might want to be on the lookout for that. Coming soon to Super 7 and Walmart. So good luck. Good luck ever finding anything at Walmart. Avalon Hill burned me on a botched Hero Quest exclusive expert release. Scalpers made a bundle. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, dude, if scalpers are just going to sell this thing for 2 or 3 times what it's being sold, just sell it for that yourself. Just sell it for that yourself. Or put out enough of them so that the scalpers can't. It's so pointless, man. get it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it works for some people. They could dance around. I've got the thing and you don't have the thing. Okay, good for you. We're all 50. We shouldn't be dancing around like that now. We should be dancing at our kids' weddings. Any rate, for lovers of Golden Age comics, Black Cat Comics Volume 1, collecting the first 4 issues, coming from PS Art Books in December of 2025. Black Cat had absolutely amazing art. This was from Harvey back in the day. Who did Harvey? Harvey did, I think, Casper, Hot Stuff, Wendy the Good Little Witch. But they did a little bit in the way of superheroes, and Black Cat is freaking gorgeous. Speaking of public domain, although I don't know if it's, somebody might have the trademark on it. Somebody might have the trademark on Black Cat. I know it was public domain though in terms of art, because I had some really good clip art of her that I used in my Mystery Men role-playing game. I don't know if I did stats for her or if I just had the image to decorate the book, but absolutely gorgeous stuff. Also out in December, Studio Canal's limited edition 4K Ultra High Def Blu-ray Collector's Box Set of The New Avengers. All 26 episodes restored, which is nice. 64-page booklet on the history of the show, New Avengers comics, audio commentaries from surviving cast members. Obviously, Patrick McNee is no longer with us. I'm a big fan of the Peel era. I have never seen New Avengers, but I know there are folks out there who really dig it, and I do want to watch them at some point. So, you're getting a box set, Blu-ray. That's pretty sweet. Okay. This actually was going to be the last thing. And then 4 more things popped up the next day when I was prepping this. So this is available for pre-order now from Atari's website. Pac-Man Atari 2600 Plus, as they put it, with extras coming later, and they do already have some of those extras out now. The basic set is the console, the yellow joystick, and a Pac-Man 2-in-1 game. Now, this thing will play the vintage cassettes as well. $170. Not bad. You see the 4 games that they're putting out. And then they're putting out the other 4 colored joysticks. These, I believe, are wireless joysticks. So $170 for the console and 1 joystick in the game. I think the games are going at $35 a pop. If you want to buy them separate, I'm not sure what the separate joysticks are going for. Very cool, though. Never had an Atari when I was a kid. And might have pre-ordered this one. Not a bad price. I couldn't help it. And I might have pre-ordered the Dig Dug cartridge as well. But that's it. That's all I did. So at any rate, though, you notice obviously the colors of the joysticks are based on the ghosts from Pac-Man. I just thought it was cool. I couldn't help it. I had to do it. So that was going to be my big last reveal for this thing. And then what comes out, or what gets announced? Oh, there's a picture of what you get with the $170. Okay. From Icon, based on Frazetta's art, John Carter of Mars, 1/12 scale, and Woola as well. And you see you get some change outs and some other weapons and stuff. That's pretty damn rad. Oh, well, you can play it too, honey. Jeez. I mean, well, maybe if you behave yourself. If you admit that Buffy the Vampire Slayer wasn't really that good, you can play my Atari. So John Carter figure. I think this is the first John Carter figure there's ever been. I mean, except maybe of customs, but so that's pretty cool. Man of War, you might be into that one. I don't know if you're into John Carter as well as Conan. I love John Carter, and boy, that movie, if they had just given it a shot, I think it would have done really well. But yeah, based on Frazetta's art, and there's the bigger close-up of Woola, sort of froggy-looking dog friend. My daughter loved Woola in that friggin' movie. I'm like, dude, you could have made so much bank off of that character, because he was cuter than this with like kids, and they blew it so friggin' hard on that movie. And I think they did it. I think they purposely sabotaged their own movie so it wouldn't compete with Star Wars, which they were just buying. We know how that went. Good work, guys. From Mezco, again in that 5-point articulation line. Wave 2 of their 1989 Batman figures. You get Batman with the cape unfurled. You get the Joker with, I believe that is the, is that like the spray fire thing? I think. And the dude with the friggin' boom box when they're going through the museum, causing their stuff. Yeah, well, it's Museum Joker either way. But those are kind of cool. And I got to say, their initial figures were pretty cool too. And I'm trying to remember, I don't remember what the price point was on those original ones. I think it was high enough that I was like, I don't need these. I can't lie. I wouldn't mind getting that Batman with the cape out, though. That's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. God, I love that movie. I think I saw Batman. It had to be in the neighborhood of 20, 25 times in the theater. I was obsessed with it. And I'm trying to remember. I think I had just done like about 25 viewings of Roger Rabbit in the theaters when this came out. I think Roger Rabbit was before this. And this one took over my obsession in movie theaters. Oh my God, I watched that a lot. And you know what? I still have fun with it. It's campy, but I did have fun. All right. We're almost done here with these. From McFarlane, these are going up on pre-sale July 31st. If you want them, do not delay or you might really regret it. Because again, the other stuff selling out fast. This is based on Super Friends. We got Flash. This is wave 2, by the way. We got Cheetah, and I really dig the face sculpt on that one. I think I'm going to order it. I got their Green Lantern in wave 1. Who did they have in wave 1? Green Lantern, Batman, 2 villains. Was it Lex? Lex or Brainiac? And maybe the Riddler? I'm trying to remember now. But that Cheetah is that's pretty damn rad. I really like that. The Toy Man, who never did anything for me on that cartoon, even as a kid. They got Captain Cold. Got the ray gun going. And Superman. If you ever watch the opening to that one, Super Friends, I think it's funny because it's Superman saving a train, but it almost sounds like Superman shows up and does like the, trucker horn when he pops in. Yeah, he should have done that. I think that would have been good. I like the logo. Any rate, those are coming up July 31st. So it says at select retailers. Usually it's like Big Bad Toy Store is one of them. Those, by the way, X-Men 97 new figures. They're on Amazon. I think they're sold out at Big Bad Toy Store. One of them. The Wolverine was still on Amazon for $25. It's the Wolvie in the leather jacket, plaid shirt, jeans. Damn, I almost got it because that is a really cool look for him. That's, I think, still available. I don't think it's sold out there yet. You might want to go look. But these will probably go fast, so don't waste time. But we'll see. Last thing. From Anderson, as in Jerry Anderson, pre-orders are up at jerryanderson.com for their anniversary edition models of Thunderbird 1 and my favorite, Thunderbird 2. These are a little over 6 inches long, and they are $83, so these ain't cheap. But if you're into Thunderbirds, they're really nice looking, models. I'm not sure if these are die cast. They might be. I think probably not, because Corgi did the die cast, and I don't think these are Corgi. They might be plastic. At any rate, $83. Little on the steep side. I don't think I'm getting them, but you might want to check them out as I hit my table and cause an earthquake. All right, let's wrap this dude up because I got to get back to watching Police Squad, if nothing else. Couple new arrivals, a couple little reviews I wanted to do. This just showed up. Oh, let me take that down. Actually, I think I had. Yeah, there he is. But here's the book itself. Let's take that down. Squid Williams, done by Dan Thompson. It is Man, it's like a little bit of Hanna-Barbera. It's a little bit of it's very Steve Canyon to me. Little Johnny Quest. This was a fun freaking book. I enjoyed it immensely. You notice the gold knife. Add on the back, sugar frosted funnies. Love the styles on that stuff. And they actually have these little, they have a couple like little comedy, funny animal cartoons in there, which they do a really good job on. Now, I think Thompson typically does more funny stuff. He's got a funny little Q&A with two local students who begged him for an interview that gets a feeling it might actually be his kids. There's going to be more of these coming. You can get on Patreon. It sounds like for $3. And maybe get some like early stuff, but got to do this slowly so it doesn't freeze up. There we go. Fighting a shark. Bloody, crazy action. I enjoyed this immensely. It was something I was really looking forward to. And I was not sorry at all. And it was a good price too. Just got this in the mail. I ordered it like 2-3 days ago. From mymonstermovie.com, I think. Finn's the Spook, who's a friend of this channel, has been telling me, dude, you got to get one of these. I'm like, okay. I finally did it. Cryptology. There we go. That's better. Cryptology. Man, this reminds me of like reading film facts back in the day. We're talking, it goes into a little bit on horror comics, horror movies, etc. Got just this. So Tomorrow's Publishing is who does it. They do a retro thing as well. And I got to go slow so it doesn't freeze up. There we go. This looks rad. I can't wait to sit and read this. Magazines are starting to have maybe a little bit of a renaissance, kind of like you're getting with vinyl records, which, I mean, I know it's like, it's not replacing friggin' the gram and all that shit, but who cares? Magazines are fun every once in a while just to be able to sit and read stuff. Burp. So that's one review. All right, the only movie I really watched, and I watched it last Sunday after my stream. We were talking about TV disaster movies in general, and they can be very goofy. And what shows up on YouTube? But a TV movie from 1976 called The Flood with Martin Milner and Robert Culp. And I'm like, what the hell? I'll throw on the first 10 minutes, and if it just sucks, I won't watch it. I kind of liked it. I actually kind of had fun with this one. You basically have this little town, I think Pacific Northwest, and they got an old dam. And they kind of know they need to replace it, but the guy who's in charge of the town is sort of, no, it's fine. There's no problem. And they're saying, dude, you need to, like, they just got heavy rains. So we gotta let some water out of this sucker, out of the reservoir. There's too much. But that's going to screw up the fishing. And tourists coming to fish. So, okay, you basically get it. It's Jaws, right? We can't close down the beaches. This is the summer season. This is when we make all our money. It was good, man. Richard Basehart was in it. I always think of what's her name from Mystery Science Theater, Gypsy. But I actually enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a good little flick. It was what's his name? Irwin Allen. It was an Irwin Allen thing. So you might want to go check out The Flood if you just need something to, I don't know, man, waste time to. All right. Band of the Crow. I showed off last week that this had arrived. Really nice production values in this thing. I mean, really nice. I mean, I'm going, I hope you made a profit on this thing because it's too good not to make a profit on. It comes with, this is like a slip cover, right? But, I mean, it's not exactly, yeah, it is. There we go. Okay. Let me take that off of there. So there's the book. Let me take this down. The art in this thing is abso-friggin-lutely bonkers. Actually, there's one page in particular I wanted to show. It's like painted. It is amazing. This is this point where this kid who's like a young sorcerer in training has been attacked by these trolls. It's right at the beginning of the book. But seriously, dude, look at this. Whoa. This is amazing. It's really good. It's a fantasy story. It gives you some background of the world, on the characters. The character has to sort of get his, officially become a sorcerer. He's got to go through a labyrinth. Can he make it? Will he not? Yes. I was thinking it too. There's maybe a little bit of Harry Potter there. It's a little bit, but it's about sort of coming of age. It's about, the history of his family and what happened to his father when he was going through this. It was a good setup for the series. It's one I'm going to probably hand off to my wife. I'm like, she might really dig this one, but this thing is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. The art in this thing. Dude, if this was like a European comic in French that I couldn't read, it would probably be worth buying just to look at it. Absolutely amazing. Band of the Crow, book 1. Oh, Arvid Nelson. Oh, geez. I know I should have looked up. Okay, let me look it up really quick. I want to get because it'd probably be quicker for me to look it up than to actually open the whole thing back up again. Come on, bandofthecrow.com. So Arvid Nelson is the writer, and they just have Oren. What's his last name? Damn it. All right, we'll go to their website, Band of the Crow, thebandofthecrow.com. You can see a little bit more. I don't know Oren's last name. I don't remember. Screw it. I'm opening it back up and I'm looking because it's too damn. The art is just like it's ridiculous how good this art is. It is absolutely ridiculous how good the art is. It's just Oren. That's what he uses. Okay. Line art coloring by Oren. All right. I swear I remember reading a last name, but I guess I didn't. Anyhow, Band of the Crow. If you didn't grab it, they'll be doing more campaigns. I'm sure there'll be catch-ups. You could get it later. Get it later, man. Get it later. The other thing I managed to finish reading, she's Josie. This was the Josie character before the Pussycats. It launched in was it 64 or 63? 63. And, it's your typical kind of Archie Comics type of stuff. Dan DiCarlo art throughout this one. It's all stuff from 63 and 64. Let me find the one image that kind of blew me away a little bit. Because there's one where they're going into a spooky old house. There it is. They're going into a spooky old house that these crooks are using. Now, in Josie and the Pussycats, you have Josie. You have Melody, plays drums. Cheryl Ladd did the voice for her, just in case you didn't know that. And then you had, oh God, what's her name? Not Veronica. Valerie. Yeah, Valerie was in but before, when it was just the Josie comic, the band wasn't there yet. The third member of the group was Pepper, who's kind of like, she was a little bit of a, I guess, tomboy. She's smart. She played sports really well. But this image of them at the haunted house in the background, I'm like going, dude, that's Velma. That's Velma. The glasses, short hair, the socks up to the knees, the turtleneck sweater. I'm like, that's friggin' Velma from Scooby-Doo. Now, Scooby-Doo comes around in 69, so about 5 years after. But I'm going, could that have had some impact on Scooby-Doo? Because Scooby-Doo comes from Ruby and Spears, who also do Thundar the Barbarian, by the way. They created Scooby-Doo, and the impetus from Hanna-Barbera was they had done all the superhero cartoons in the 60s, and the moms groups were getting on them about violence. So they're like, we need to do something that's non-violent, not superheroes punching people. Scooby-Doo's what comes along. I could picture these guys going through maybe like old issues of Archie Comics type stuff for inspiration, right? Because, well, we did comic book superheroes, a lot of punching. Archie Comics outsold the superhero comics back in the day. And they're generally nonviolent. They're cartoony, but they're nonviolent. It's like, could it be, or is it just a complete coincidence? Anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. But I enjoyed it. She's Josie. It was fun. These are great books. They're like, I think $10 at the moment. I think it's maybe 15 down to 10 because they usually have a sale going on. You get all your typical teen hijinks in it. I should probably put that up there instead. Beautiful Dan DeCarlo art throughout. Known for good girl art. And obviously Melody is like the Marilyn Monroe type in this thing. Fun character though. So there we go. A whole lot of new releases. A little chatter on the Fantastic Four movie. Looks like it's tracking almost exactly like the Superman movie. Hey, whatever you think of them, have fun with them, ignore them. But it is kind of interesting. It does look like it's setting the future of superhero movies, which is they'll make some money, but keep the budgets relatively low and don't expect $1 billion. Maybe they'll find another one that makes $1 billion, but MCU doesn't look, it looks like they learned a few lessons for Fantastic Four, but some of the stuff coming in the future doesn't look like they've learned any lessons at all. And James Gunn is nuts, so who the hell knows? But I will leave you with this. My favorite thing I found on Twitter this week. You won't believe the things your kids will learn with a computer. Look at that computer screen. Yeah. But of course, the main thing I noticed was, oh, that's Commodore. I'm pretty sure that's a Commodore computer. I had a Commodore VIC-20 back in the day. It's what I learned to program BASIC on. So everybody, that'll bring us to the end of Live in the Den. A lot of new releases. Hopefully you saw something that you dig, that you want to go look for. Go watch a movie. Go drink a Diet Cherry Coke. Go read a comic book. Just go chill. Hope you have a blessed Sunday. If it's been rough, I hope it gets a lot better for you real soon. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Oh, thank you for everybody in the chat. Raimi was on earlier. Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast, and of course, Lady Wendelin, who keeps me sane and drives me crazy. It kind of works both ways. But God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture coming up this week. More Justice League on Monday. Phantomas on Wednesday. The Cook Expert D&D set on Friday. And I got to remember to make that video today. So, have fun. I'll see you later. Bye.